For many people, scraps or expired food ends up in a trash can. But for John and Stacy Klein, inedible food and waste is key to producing what they call black gold. Rich, dark compost.
We say if it grows, it goes. So if it was living at some point, we will take it.
Since 2020, John and Stacy Klein have run a composting service called New Earth Farm.
We bring a 4-gallon green bucket, a rectangular bucket. They fill it up with all their food waste, whatever they have that's organic in their home that's gone bad. They fill it up with that, and then we collect that bucket every week or 2 weeks based on their needs.
That waste is then used to make compost.
There's a few things you need, which would be water and air, and you need enough greens, which is not just green vegetables, but enough of the nitrogen-rich food scraps, and enough browns, which are the carbon-rich wood chips, dry leaves, that kind of thing.
Once you have the right amount of browns and greens, the compost pile needs oxygen and moisture to process. Water can be added, and every few days the pile can be mixed with a shovel to add oxygen. Stacy and John showed us how they compost at their learning lab in Old North. Here, New Earth Farm educates student groups and community members about the process. One of the most interesting aspects of composting is the heat it produces.
If we run around and we start to get hot and sweaty and breathe more, same thing happens with the bacteria. And when that happens, the temperature goes up in that bin, and you'll get to 131 degrees, and kind of just like you're cooking something in the oven. If you cook it long enough, you're going to kill all the weed seeds, which you don't want growing out of your compost, fly larvae, another nuisance like that, and then also pathogens.
After 3 to 6 months, the compost is ready for the final step, sifting through the finished product to remove large objects and pieces that may need more time to process, like bones.
The fine stuff comes out the bottom, and this is, finished compost ready to throw in your garden.
Unlike a household compost bin, New Earth Farm can accept dairy and meat food waste.
At home, you probably don't want to compost like meat or dairy or things that tend to go putrid pretty quickly. It might tend to attack more rodents. It might cause a nuisance for your neighbors.
But even at their learning lab, they compost a small percentage of the waste they receive. Because they collect so much, they send most of it to industrial facilities.
So we probably take in around 6,000 to 7,000 pounds a week through all of our services. But typically a household will divert, 12, 14 pounds a week is pretty average.
Their service reaches all of St. Louis City and some of the county, and it includes residential and commercial subscribers. John says their service helps prevent extra waste from being thrown away, which he says is important because food waste can't properly break down in a landfill.
Something like maybe up to 2/3 of the waste that goes to a landfill is compostable, whether that's paper products or food waste. Food waste is the single largest category of waste in the landfill. So we're making sure that's not being grown, and rather it's getting composted, that bacteria and fungi are breaking it down and turning it into a nutrient-rich soil amendment so that can be put back on flower beds, gardens, and so forth locally.
Some of the compost they create actually goes back to their subscribers too.
In the spring and in the fall, we give them a 30-pound bag of compost back, just as kind of the compost give back program.
Compost is great for remediating soil, and it's wonderful when people are like, I want to do a community garden, I want to start a garden, but where are you putting that garden? And compost can really help with that.
And so we're just trying to cooperate with what nature's already doing. It's part of being greener in St. Louis and using what we have as it's already here that's a resource.
For Living St. Louis, I'm Veronica Moheski.